Uh, so hi. Yeah, we're live. Wow, look at that.
Hey, everybody.
Hey. So hi. Welcome to Good Noise Podcast. I am Shane.
I'm Justin,
Uh,
aka Glory.
yeah, Glory couldn't make it, so Justin's here to co-host with me for the night.
I'm also from
Yeah.
Breaking Even OF1 on Twitter.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Plug all this shit right now, and then I'll ask once again at the end when we inevitably talk about the song that you guys just
All right,
dropped.
go to Breaking Even OF1 on Twitter and Instagram, and also go to Breaking Even OF1 on SoundCloud to hear our podcast.
Hell yeah. Um. So Glory couldn't make it. Someone stole her voice, so that's why Justin's
It was the
here.
Grinch.
Yeah, it was the Grinch took her voice. Um, so I don't know if you guys missed it or not. If you don't follow us on Twitter or Instagram, you probably missed it. We put together a festival. We announced it Sunday morning, and there's like 37 bands. Breaking Even is one of them.
Yes.
Make sure you tune in. It's gonna be wild. It'd be better if it was.
You want to read off the?
I
You want to read off the bands real quick?
can do that, yeah. So we've got America Part 2, Arcadia Grey, Ashton Drags, Breaking Even, Calling Down Fire, Cheers Pricks, Dog Tags, Driving Underwater, Feeney, Forest Hills, Fox Teeth, Goodfella, Green Knuckle Material, Have a Good Season, Honestly Me, Jake G, we just added this band today, Claws and the Cider Sippers, Love Rose, Loyalty to Me,
Very good
Mr.
name.
Yes. Naked Alien, Nico, No Coincidence, No Lungs, Ogbert the Nerd, Oolong, Over the Weather, Peach Creek, Plague Skater, Pulses, Ryan Christopher, Scarlet Magnum, Shark Club, Space Dust, The Ones You Forgot, The Sound of Modesty, Tilted and With Sails Ahead. It is going to be what the kids call
Stacked.
a party. So,
Do the kids call it that?
I think so. I don't know. So yeah, make sure you tune into that. It'll be right here on the Twitch page, actually. So just like,
Yeah, and every band that you guys have on here, you interviewed also, right?
most of them, if not all of them. And
Yeah,
if they,
I remember. Sorry,
And if
I
they
listened
haven't
to the
been-
Driving Underwater one.
yeah,
It was pretty good. The Driving Underwater interview, and Oolong was really good too.
Thank you.
And Heart to Gold, which I don't know if I saw them on here, but they were great.
we did ask them to play. They did say no. But the bands on the lineup, most of them have been interviewed. If it's not yet been posted, it's in the process
up.
of or it's going to be recorded. It still hasn't been recorded. So, yeah, lots of friends on that lineup.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, thank you. So, do you want to
No
get right into the discussion?
Let me pull this up.
Alrighty. So, Cypher Sight dropped their debut single, Icon's Crown, on June
Oh, yeah,
7th.
okay. For some reason, I thought that was the name of the band. I don't know.
This is Justin from Motionless in White's side project. So that's the only reason why it caught my eye. And we missed it last
I've heard
week.
of Motionless in White, but I've never listened to them.
I
Just
have
like,
listened to them way too much. So, yeah, I personally really enjoyed the song. It also had the ex-bassist from Ice Nine Kills, so it had like an Ice Nine Kills meets Motionless in White kind of vibe, and I love both those bands, so that was cool.
Yeah, this song, two of the songs on here reminded me of like a song that belongs in like WWE SmackDown versus Raw,
Uh-huh.
and this one was one of them. But this one was the better one out of the two of them.
Okay.
I mean, like these bands like Ice Nine Kills and Motionless in White. I haven't really listened to them much before, so I'm not going to be like into it just because those people are in there. But I thought it was put together well, and it was not like some of these songs end up being boring. At least it was like not super boring.
Yeah, and I liked the way it opened with like the clown-ish theme, like the
Yeah, that was a
haunted
little
circus kind of
confusing. I was
thing.
like,
Yeah,
what's going on here?
yeah. So I was very confused the first time I listened to it, but now it's just like part of the song,
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. There isn't much to say about it.
It's a song for sure, and it was made.
That is what I say every single time when we run out of things to say. I'm like, it is a song that was recorded. Was it good? Yeah, sure.
And we listened to it, I guess, right?
Yeah, yeah. So we'll move right along. Neck Deep dropped their third single, Fall, on June 17th. I think this might be my favorite out of the three singles, but I haven't really liked any of the singles for this album.
Yeah, out of the singles, this is the best one.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty good. I like the hook, and it
Mhm.
sounds like early 2000s pop punk,
Mhm.
like All American Rejects and those bands.
Yeah.
But honestly, their best song to me is always going to be In Bloom. So it's not as good as In Bloom.
I have not personally listened to Neck Deep. This is like the first time I'm following an album
Oh,
released by
really?
them. Yeah, and I've just kind of avoided listening to them. It's just something that
Actually,
people have been like,
I've
listen to Neck Deep, and I haven't. What were you gonna say?
well, everybody. I think that was a meme for a little bit to say listen to Neck Deep,
Yeah.
but I used to be in this band when I was younger called New Hope, and it was we were in our like second year, right around Neck Deep was actually like Get Into America, like we were hearing their music,
Mhm.
and it was back when you should look up this song if you haven't heard of it by them. It's called A Part of Me. That was like the first song that we heard about them from
Mhm.
them. I mean, it was like him and a girl, and they were in a field and they were singing. It was good, but we were supposed to play a show with them, their first show in America. But something happened with their visas and they couldn't get over here, and then the show got canceled.
Damn. So you were this close to playing Neck Deep's first
Yeah.
American show. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
literally the first one too, because they would have been here for like whatever, but we
Uh-huh.
were going to be on the first one ever, and that would have been
Damn.
pretty great, but it
Yeah,
didn't
could you
happen.
imagine? You could be like, yeah, I opened for Neck Deep's first U.S. show.
Yeah, no,
Damn.
that would be awesome. And now they're like Neck Deep. I'm not so much of a fan of them either. Like I like In Bloom, that's a great song by them, and I like some of their other songs, but I respect them a lot. Like I can't believe how big they got. It's crazy.
Oh yeah.
But this specific song, two things that I was like, ugh, because if you know anything about me, which you might not if you're listening to this, but I hate when there's way too much like tambourine or a shaker in a song,
Uh-huh.
and at the end of it, it was getting like ridiculous with the shaker. I'm like, oh, I can't take this anymore. And then they had like a solo version of the hook at the end. It reminds me of like I always call it the Weezer solo because they have like solos in their songs that are the same notes as the hook, and they had a pretty good one at the end of this. I liked it.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Respect Neck Deep.
Respect Neck Deep. Yeah, like I agree with you. Like I respect what they're doing. It's awesome how big they've gotten in the short amount of time they've been around, but they're just not a band I've like gone out of my way to listen to.
You'll get there.
I
Just
will.
wait until you're super emo. You'll get
It'll
there.
happen one of these days. So speaking of super emo, well, actually emo bands that have fallen off because they dropped one good emo album and now we're here. Remeo Drive dropped their third single for their
Oh
new
yeah.
album. A Flower and a Weed dropped on June 17th. I believe the album's coming out this Friday too, if I remember correctly. It should be coming out this Friday.
I've definitely heard of. Is it Remeo or is it Remo Drive?
Remeo. I
Yeah,
think
I'm
it's
not
Remo.
sure. I've never. I've heard of this band, but I've only seen it written down.
Okay.
But this song was good. I mean, you put it on a little like late in the day or whatever, so I listened to it like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And it was good, but I mean, I don't know. Like you're saying, all these bands kind of sound the same,
Mhm.
So it's like maybe they fell off. And yeah, it comes out June 26th, so I think that's this Friday. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was good. I like the name of the song way better than I like the song. Like that, the name of the song, it sounds super deep, and I listened to the song, and I was like, I don't know, I'm not really getting this right now.
Yeah, I get that. The singles have kind of been hit or miss so far because I think we've covered them all. I don't remember anything, but I do know they've been hit or miss. And
So apparently they've been missed,
yeah,
by the way.
I have heard great things about their album Greatest Hits and how they've kind of fallen off since then. So I'm going to trust my friends on that and say that that's what's happened. How they've gone from like a more emo sound to just like alt rock. So
Yeah, I mean, this is what happens. I feel like when you're an emo band, you get like so used to. Excuse me, sorry. You get so used to being slow and like rocking those chords and shit, and then you eventually turn into alt rock, and you're like, before it was cool because you were emo and you had these like emo lyrics and everything like that, and then you turn into alt rock and it's kind of like just everything's kind of boring, But
yeah.
maybe their album will be good. I don't want to. I'm not talking shit. I'm sorry, Remo guys. Don't do anything.
Don't hurt me. So yeah, moving right along to to a band that actually just announced their album. I'm very excited for this one. Point North dropped the title track for their new album, Brand New Vision, featuring Dwayne, on June 18th. I think I'm gonna just preface this by saying I think it's weird that the title track has a feature on it.
I mean, it's good promotion. Like if
Oh
that's
yeah.
your single and that's the title track, you want to have like usually on your single, it's good to have a person featuring on it so that you can get more listens. You know.
Okay, but the weird thing is this is single number 4 off of the album.
Oh.
This was just the one that they were like, this is the title track and the track that we're going to be like, this is the album as well.
Maybe they're bros with this guy
They're
Dwayne.
bros, but I know
Is that
like
his name, Dwayne?
the lead single had Kellen Quinn from Sleeping with Sirens on it, so like I have no problem with that. I just think that having the title track have a feature on it, not something you see every day.
I've never heard of this band. Well, I've seen them written down, and maybe in the last week only.
Uh-huh.
But I thought this song was okay. I probably wouldn't have listened to it on my own, and the rapping at the end was horrible. Like I'm sorry, Dwayne, but it was so out of place, and it was so out of nowhere. I didn't like it.
I think the only reason why Dwayne has gotten so popular is because he toured with water parks over the winter. So now everyone's like Dwayne, 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 and all I've seen is his name everywhere. He's getting features on everything. He's signed to Hopeless now, I think. So like all of a sudden, this guy just blowed up from being on the Parks tour. Yeah. So I think he's just all right. I haven't listened to his studio stuff. I don't think
I've never, like I said, I never heard of any of these people. Okay,
I'm like, I didn't think he was horrible on the song, but it wasn't my favorite song that they've put out for this album cycle either. So like,
yeah.
I'm still excited for the album. I'm excited for the 6 songs that aren't out yet.
I mean, when a band releases 4 singles, I'm like, how many songs are on this album? Like Newfound Glory and one of the other bands on here, excuse me, they had 15 songs on their album. I'm like, dude, this is too much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Newfound Glory and All Time Low, they both released albums recently. 15 songs. That's too much. That's too much.
Well, in the same vein as the 1975, whose album was 21 songs long.
Yeah, I've again 19. I'm gonna say this for every band. I've heard of them. I've never really listened to them.
Okay, so you didn't listen to that album because I was just about to say let's get into that conversation because that album was fucking garbage, so bad.
I mean,
horrible.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Knuckle Puck is the only. Knuckle Puck covering Chocolate, I think, is the only song I've ever heard by them.
Okay, all right. But yeah, Point North. The album's only 10 songs long, and it releases in 2 months. There's 4 singles out. That means they're probably going to drop at least another one, which I think 5 singles is way too many. Not. Yeah, that is way too many.
Yeah. When Knuckle Puck was putting out Shapeshifter, they put out Gone at first, and they didn't have any other singles, and it was like, I think Gone was in June, and then the album was coming out in October, and it was October or like last week in September, no other singles. Then the last 2 weeks before the album, they released 2 singles. I'm like, why did you do that?
Space them out.
Honestly, so, like, the 2 singles that they put out made it so that I wouldn't made it for me not I'm sorry, made it so that I didn't want to listen to the album.
Okay,
they were not as good as Gone, and I was like, they should just put out Gone, and we were all waiting anyway. It doesn't, I don't get it.
Yeah, I think it's weird. Weezer, before they postponed the album, they only had 1 single out, and then like I think it would have stayed that way if they didn't postpone the album. And a band that only puts out 1 single, I respect that big time.
Especially if you're in a, like, you got to take advantage. Like, I think Knuckle Puck was in the point of their career right there where they could have put out 1 single and everybody would have listened to the album no matter what. But like they didn't do it, so they wasted it.
Yeah.
You only get 1.
Yeah. And I'll go back to Water Parks. I don't know if you followed the release of their new album Fandom, but they dropped like 6 songs and 3 of them were like in the last month of the album or something like that, which was just stupid, but I don't know. I don't know
much about Water Parks. I know that they I listen to their music because they have a lot of our fans like Water Parks, so I listen to them. But I don't know. I'm not into them, and also like I feel like there's like the people that are obsessed with them. Like it's kind of like a weird obsession because like they're not like that good, and they're also haven't been around for that long. So
yeah.
It's kind of I don't know. They just love that guy. The main guy.
They claim to love him, and they bullied him off the goddamn internet.
Oh, he doesn't have Twitter anymore?
Well, he has Twitter, but he hasn't tweeted in like months. He tweeted for like the Black Lives Matter thing, that was it, but he dipped off, and like his fans were like doxing him and stuff. Like they love him, but they're like they bullied him off the internet.
We were talking about this on Breaking Even podcast the other day. I think it isn't out yet, but I think it's episode 14, and we were talking about Chester Bennington from Linkin Park, and like right before he died, a lot of their fans were bullying him, but like they're like, oh, we love Linkin Park so much, but then they're like bullying him, and they bullied him to a point where he couldn't take it anymore, clearly, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't know, I feel like if you're a diehard fan, you gotta like take a step back,
Yeah,
give people some space.
yeah. If you're a diehard fan, you should act like it, not, you know,
Yeah, like appreciate them,
yeah,
love them from afar, whatever you gotta do, but don't start posting their like personal shit on Twitter. Like, what are you doing?
yeah. So moving right along to Knuckle Puck, they dropped a new song, "Breathe," featuring Derek
Yes.
Sanders from Mayday Parade on June 18th. I have not.
Another best single of the of the singles that they put out so far for the album.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The single was good, and having a feature with Mayday Parade's frontman is always a good thing. I like Mayday Parade, so yeah,
I'm about them. They the video was so weird though. Did you see the video?
I didn't.
It's like it's Joe Taylor and their guitarist, I believe his name is Nick, and the guy from Mayday Parade, and like it's just them in all the shots, and I don't know, it's weird. It's like he's like sitting in the woods, and then they're in like a picture, and then the guy from Mayday Parade is there, and they're all at the beach, and I'm like, I don't know, this video like makes the song so weird. I heard it originally without the video. I'm like, it's okay, and then the video, I was like,
Yeah, I get
how is
that.
that?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was just another pop punk track. I don't really remember much from it, but
So what's your like favorite bands? Because, you know, just to say this is just another pop punk track, sounds like you don't really like pop punk that much.
oh well, then if you want to go into favorite bands, we got like Korn, Motionless in White, Slipknot, so you can see like where my taste is at.
You're like a metalcore guy.
Yeah, I do appreciate pop punk, and I do listen to my fair share, but it's typically just
Yeah,
like,
you better. No.
of course, yeah, it's more like, oh, I'm just sick and tired of listening to Korn. Like, let me change it up and listen to something else more, instead of like, wow, I'm a diehard like insert pop punk band. You know.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, like Knuckle Puck, you know, they're one of my favorites, but the last album was kind of like missed for me, and this one's feeling like it's going to be missed too. So I'm hoping that there's some songs on the album I'll really like, but we'll see.
I'm hoping the album's good. That's
I think it would be good, but we'll see if it's like great.
Yeah. Oh, I get that. Yeah. So moving right along to something that was not good, and I don't get the hype behind her. Phoebe Bridgers dropped her new album Punisher. She got all quirky and released it on a Thursday instead of a Friday on June 18th. And my God,
Yeah,
this thing.
did you know Friday is album release day?
And my God, this thing was boring.
It was. I mean, okay. Last time I was on here, I talked about how much I love Haley Williams. Phoebe Bridges is somebody that she always reposts, like,
Okay.
and I think they even have a song together. I'm not 100% sure, but this album is not. I know you're saying it's bad. It's not like musically bad, and it's also not even written bad. It's just like super boring.
It's super slow
You know?
moving. Yeah, I never said
Every
it was
song
bad.
sounds
I
the
just said it was boring, which
Yeah.
doesn't inherently make it bad. It's just hard to listen to.
I feel like I got to give it a second listen, because like when I was listening to it, I was like, I don't know, I'm not like I'm like listening to all these songs. I'm just trying to make an opinion. You know, it's something that I criticize Anthony Fantano for all the time, but I'm just trying to think of an opinion. So I got to go back and listen to it another time. But it reminds me of emo bands that I love, kind of like, you know, those Midwest like indie emo bands or like a folk band.
Yeah.
But it also has like some light tones, so it sounds nice. And I like the song Kyoto. That was a really
Me
good.
too. That was
song.
I think that was the highlight off the entire album. I went into this album kind of expecting to hate it, because I had listened to one of her other albums. I got it for like an album exchange thing or something. I'm like, this was boring. So I kind of went into it already with like a bad headspace, kind of expecting this to be boring. So I mean, maybe I shouldn't have done that, but it's too late for that.
I mean, it's your opinion. You
Yeah.
don't form your opinion without forming your own opinion.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, the track that you mentioned was definitely a highlight for
Kyoto.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, and Savior Complex was pretty cool. I don't know. I wrote down some notes here, so I'm saying this, but I don't even remember what the song sounds like. And the last song I think is called "I Know the End." The outro was really cool, but again, it's just a bunch of guitars and slow singing and stuff. Like, I'm sure her lyrics are really meaningful, but it doesn't always catch me.
Yeah. By that point, I had actually skipped the album, because like I was driving at this point. My mom was with me. She's trying to talk. I got this slow ass thing on, but I have it like low enough so I can't hear anything. I'm like, I just gotta move along. So yeah. Moving right along to the score, they dropped a single called "The Champion" on June 19th. Can I be honest with you? I don't remember a single fucking thing from this.
This is the other song that I said sounds like some wrestling game music, but it's the worst one.
Okay, yeah, I
it
get
was
that.
it was super boring. I've never heard of this band, The Score. I've never heard of them, and it was super boring.
Yeah,
Not
our
gonna lie.
Rayanne, who used to host the podcast, she's very big on them. So anytime I see them come up in my new releases or whatever, I'm like, okay, fine, let's talk about them. But
So how old are they? Like, are they like an older? It was like some sort of metal, huh? It's like I know you're saying you're having a hard time remembering. I'm having a hard time remembering.
the score genre. Let's look up let's see what Google tells us here. Alt rock and pop rock. They have been around since 2015, so they're a newer.
Yeah, so they're pretty new.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna be a new band and sound like this, you gotta like get a different sound.
I don't know. I think they're like, from the couple of times I've listened to them, they're good as like a treat, you know. But this song wasn't it. They've got better songs
Like-
in their discography.
Like I would watch them if I was at a show and they were playing and it was free.
Like if they're on Good Noise Fest and it was donations only, you'd watch them. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like if it was just a Good Noise Fest and I just wanted to be nice and watch it, then I would. But if
Yeah.
it was any other time, I don't think I would.
but yeah, I get that. Like if they were opening and you're like, well, they're here.
Yeah, like on Warped Tour, Energy or Monster Energy Tour, or whatever the hell it is. You know what I mean? Like one of those where it's like, okay, I could do nothing and sit on the grass, or I could watch a band play. Then I'll watch them.
Yeah, I get that. Okay. Yeah. So that's about where you stand on them. Okay. I mean, I agree. Good as a treat. They've got a couple of better songs in their discography, although I have not dove very deep into their discography. So we'll leave.
Oh
it at
yeah,
that.
you love them. So name 5 songs by them.
I absolutely
Listen.
adore them.
This is your favorite band. You should have more to say about it.
Oh, my bad. Newfound Glory dropped a new album, Forever and Ever and X Infinity, on June 19th. And even the album title alone is horrible.
Yeah, the album title makes it feel like it's a remake album or something like that. Like they had this old album called Forever. What is it called? Forever
And Ever.
Forever and Ever X Infinity. It's like they had an album called Forever and Ever, and then they were like, let's release it X Infinity. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. This album, it's as you said before, it's some boring pop punk shit, and I'm sure if I like sat down and was in the correct headspace to listen to it, I would. But I think my tweet describes perfectly what I was thinking. Follow me at Justin_Legends. 3 songs into this Newfound Glory album that I willingly put on. ... Never again.
Yeah, I think you summed it up perfectly. This is just a pop punk band that's burned out and should break up already, attempting to keep making music. So,
I mean, you know, it's really funny that this album came out this week when I come on, because like not to keep talking about our podcast, but we just debuted this thing called Convince Me, or we're about to, and basically we play a bunch of songs from a band and try to convince the other person to like them if it's like a band we love. And Newfound Glory was LJ's choice, and he could not convince me to like them. Like it's something about this guy's voice. I can't take it. I don't know.
get that. Yeah. I mean, I got through the entire album, but I didn't enjoy it. And I didn't think the singer's voice was annoying or anything. I just thought that it was just boring.
It kind of sounds like he sounds like, you know, that penguin from Toy Story, the one that has like the voice box in it.
I think so.
Okay, well, there's a penguin that has a voice box in it, and it sounds like him when his voice is gone, like the Newfound Glory guy's voice, but it's like he could still sing. So it's like a strained voice. Maybe it's from 20 years of like screaming his head off.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't know. I mean, like I another band I respect them for like paving the way, and like, you know, they always have great shows. They release an album like every like year or two. So if you're into them, maybe you'll like this album. For me, it was a thumbs down out of 10.
Yeah. I wouldn't put it father of all levels of bad, but it was not good at all. Like, at all.
I also like that they do that thing, I think it's from your screen to your stereo, where they do a bunch of covers of songs from movies, and yeah, those are pretty cool. I like, they even did one last year. Like the fact that they're keeping doing it is cool, but I don't know, maybe they need to take like a 3-year break and come up with some like real bangers before they try to like put out a 15-song album.
Yeah, instead of just shitting out an album every year or two, you know.
Exactly.
So moving right along, Lamb of God dropped their self-titled album on June 19th. You and I are going to have conflicting opinions on this. I can feel it already.
Well, I mean, listen, I think we talked about this before. I love deathcore. I
Mhm.
love metalcore. I love breakdown music. But with this Lamb of God album, first of all, it felt like it came out 15 years ago,
Uh-huh.
like the way that it was written. And then I don't know, like I'm listening to the songs and I'm like, is this the same part over and over again? Even though I love this type of music, it just felt so boring. It was just like chugging and like galloping for like 20, 30 minutes, you know?
Mhm.
I like it's written well. It's written well for sure.
Yeah, I do think that most of the songs on the album did go on a little bit longer than they should have, but
Mhm.
all in all, I did enjoy it as like a whole. The first time I listened to it, I was a little iffy on it, but I gave it that second listen. I was like,
I
"This
feel like
is
that's like every album you listen
yeah,
to the first time, especially if you're expecting it to be good, it's always going to be a letdown. You got to go back that second time.
yeah." I was like, this is not bad at all." I was supposed to see him this summer with Megadeth, but obviously that is not
Yeah,
happening.
I think
Uh,
actually we talked about if you guys on our episode go check it out with the break with the Good Night podcast. We talked about if Megadeth had a drive-in concert and that it would be literal Megadeth from the
I think we
exhaust.
did. Yeah, I think at that point because we were like, Live Nation is
Yeah,
talking about doing drive-ins or whatever. What do you think about that? And we were like, I was like, well,
you went
Megadeth.
to you
I
went to a drive-in right for America Part Two?
I went to the
No,
first one in Jersey. Yeah. Um,
how was it? You might have talked about it before, but I'm sorry I haven't heard.
no, I talked about it a bit. It was interesting. It wasn't as bad as I was expecting. You know, it was set up well. The clubhouse. I think you shouted them out on the episode we did together. They always do
Yeah,
great
America.
work.
Oh, the clubhouse. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that we played with America Part Two in like Philly somewhere or whatever. But did they go really hard when they were playing? Because they did that when we saw them.
They did. They did go hard, even though the stage was like this big by this big, so like they had nowhere to move. The big thing was it's set up for social distancing, but I think the stage was 6 feet by 6 feet.
It doesn't make any sense to me that like it's like okay everybody can come in their cars and it's like how about we all just stand a little bit apart from each other, like they can't trust everybody to just go there and stand there. Like I go to the park every week and there's like 150 people there.
Hmm.
Like why can't there be a concert going on while we're there? I
Yeah,
don't
especially
understand.
considering the governor is slowly like allowing how many people are allowed outside. I know they did this in a bigger parking lot, like the drive-in shows they just announced are all going to be in a bigger parking lot.
If
So
I went to the drive-in show, I'd want to like get out and like sit on my car or something like that. Like I don't want to sit in my car and like like how bad for the environment is it? All these cars sitting on with the
well,
radio on,
they
you know?
make you turn off your car, so you're wasting your battery for the
Yeah,
hour and a half.
I'm not
And
gonna do that. I'm
yeah,
not
so
gonna do that.
I mean, when I was there, I was close enough to the stage that I just turned my car off, opened my windows up the 3 inches or whatever they allow you to open it, which is also dumb, by the way.
Yeah,
And
I didn't even hear of that before.
yeah, and my girlfriend and I heard it just fine because we were so close, and the speakers were still projecting the instruments, just not the
Yeah.
voice they claim, even though I heard the voice just fine. Um, so
Yeah, yeah, I know they set it up through like the radio, right? So you could hear like a pretty good mix for it. I know you're saying you turned off your car, but did you hear it through the radio at all?
yeah, it sounded fine through the radio, so that was
It was
good.
like good quality, like everything was mic'd up well. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. I mean, like, look, I'm not gonna say I wouldn't do it, but also I would much rather have a show outside and have all the people just like sit in like groups of like whoever they're with on the floor, like on like a picnic uh towel or something like that.
Mhm.
And, you know, we just play like five people and then they go home. Like I don't understand. They could play soccer, they could play catch, we could walk 150 people in a park, but you know,
Mhm.
no concerts. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting experience, and we actually sat down with them and talked to them about like what that experience was like, and they were like they were like it was definitely weird, but it was exciting to play like a show again,
Yeah, like,
especially
finally.
especially
Yeah.
to be like the first head like the first grouping of bands to do it because there were two bands on the lineup.
Who was the other band?
I think it was like Young Neanderthal. It was like a solo artist. Never heard of him, but
Yeah, I haven't heard of them either. But
yeah.
I mean that's pretty cool. And this Lamb of God album, I'll give it a if I'm giving the other one a thumbs down out of 10, I'll give this one like a 6.
I have a thumbs down out of 10.
No, 6 out of 10. I'll give it. I mean, it was good. Maybe if I was like 14, I would like it like on the bus to school or whatever. I'd be like,
Yeah.
but I don't know. At this point in my life, I don't have a lot of time to listen to light metal.
Yeah, I mean, as the fake edgy 14-year-old, I'll say I liked it. Um,
You're
so-
like, yeah, I got to go on the bus tomorrow actually, so I got this playlist set up.
hell yeah. So the last topic is actually your own music. You guys dropped
Yeah,
an untitled.
11 out of 10.
Hell yeah, 11 out of 10. You guys dropped your untitled song on the
Yeah, the song
21st,
called
right?
Untitled.
Yeah. So that was
Yeah, so it was we released it for Father's Day because LJ. So I talked about this on our episode, but we joined the band. I joined the band like a year or two after they already started, and I had been in the band before, but I took a break or whatever. And they recorded all these songs when I wasn't in there, but this song was one of the ones they recorded with Sadder but Wiser and another song they were going to put out. So I didn't have a lot of like say in the writing of it or anything, but I know that LJ wrote about his dad who he died 4 years ago. So we felt like it was like, something good to release on Father's Day. And like he wanted to put it out, but he didn't want to like, he didn't want to waste it, So we were just like, it's been a while since we put anything out. And it's a good song to us, and it means a lot to LJ. So it was nice to finally get it out and just have something for people to hear, basically.
So as I told you beforehand, I was going to throw a couple questions at you about it. Now I know you didn't have much say in it, so I don't know how much you'll be able to answer in terms of what I've written down.
If not, I'll make it up. I got you.
Okay. So how are you guys feeling about the response? I know it's only been a day since it's been out, but
well, everybody who listens to it says that they like it, but we're currently, since we're everything's kind of like there's so much going on, so it's kind of hard to promote, but we it's good. I don't know I don't have much to say about it. I think that anybody who's heard it has said it's good, and it's just another song in us building up our catalog to have more to show people once we really get a song that hits.
Yeah. I personally enjoyed it as well.
Thank you.
I listened to it right before we came on here. So I know you said you didn't write it, but I don't know if you know where LJ's headspace was at. I know you kind of touched on it. If you go a little bit more in depth, what was his headspace like while writing the song?
I mean, it's hard for me to say what he was thinking, but from my point of view, it seems like he was just this is at a time he was writing a ton of songs. He hadn't been in a band for three or 4 years at that point, and he was just getting his feelings out. So I think that over time he built up all these like these emotions about certain things in his life, and that was one that obviously it's his own personal experience, and he has a lot to say about it. So he wrote this song, and I think the message is about letting go of somebody, and obviously he wrote it about death. But I was talking to him yesterday, and I feel like it could be taken as a ton of things. It could be taken as letting go of like a toxic person in your life. It could be letting go of like a bad situation that you're in, letting go of a problem that is causing you to cause other people's issues, just all this stuff that it resonates with a bunch of different ideas.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think he was just like really missing his dad, and he just wanted to write this song to like show his emotion about it.
I get that. Yeah. Do you hear any band influences on this song, like specific influences?
Breaking Even in the Sadder but Wiser era, as we're calling it, was always influenced by like Blink, Taking Back Sunday, Newfound Glory, Fall Out Boy, bands like that. So I mean, this song, similarly to the Neck Deep song, just reminds me of like an early 2000s pop punk song. It's kind of like I Miss You vibe by Blink, or one of those older emo pop punk songs. And I can't really compare it to any band. I would say maybe Newfound Glory or Blink, one of those. Even though I just shit all over Newfound Glory before, but still listen to our song. It's like a good Newfound Glory,
Yeah. So you said that the song has been like years in the making, like he's had this. Was any part of this worked on in like while we were stuck at home, or was this already like pre-recorded and just you guys put it out?
This song has been recorded since like 2018.
God damn. All right, so it's been in the catalog for a long time.
Yeah, we have one more song that was recorded in that group of songs, and then after that we're going to be like, I mean, I guess this is a good time to just mention it. We're going to release another song in maybe like 2 or 3 weeks. We're just waiting for the video to be done for it, and then after that we're planning to release an acoustic EP because we haven't had a lot of time to get together as like a band and work on all the drums and everything like that. So we're going to put some new songs on it, rework old songs like Narcolepsy and some maybe Good Luck Bye and songs like that, and then just have that out so that we can have a little bit more time to like record our actual music.
Oh, that's exciting.
Give people a little taste.
All right.
Yeah.
And then these songs that you're putting out, these ones that were already in the catalog, will these songs be seen on a future release, or are they just going to be standalone and stay that way?
They're just going to be by themselves. Yeah, we have the one release, and then we have like with the new song that will come out next week, we have like 4 songs that are just by themselves. But with Spotify and all these these streaming services, you don't need to really put out a release like
Mhm.
almost ever. It's almost better to release singles until you have a reason to sell an album,
Mhm.
you know? But we're it just they don't fit. Like the next era of Breaking Even, I dubbed it the Justin era because that's where I joined.
Okay.
It's gonna be more, similar to Paramore, similar to Knuckle Puck, similar to all those bands that we got into that LJ by himself was an influence on writing, but me and Eric, who is our other guitarist, are influenced on. So it's not going to be on any releases, but they'll always be up somewhere regardless anyway. So
Okay. All right.
yeah.
So then,
Now I got some questions for you
oh shit.
because I wanted to ask these if both of you guys were here, but it's fine. So why did you guys choose to start a podcast instead of trying to like learn an instrument and join a band?
Oh God. So Gloria and I are on. We have a server together. She owns it, a Panic at the Disco server,
Uh huh.
and we were just kind of joking around one day in staff chat. We were like, "What if we started a podcast?" So at the time, the staff and I, as the staff and everybody, we came
Yeah.
together and started a podcast, um, and that it just pretty much started as a joke. I mean, the name at the time was Epic Beans Podcast.
You should have
Uh,
kept it beans and everything.
Dear God, no. We were so
As an
ashamed.
April Fool, you should go back to Epic Beans podcast one day.
We were so ashamed of that name that when we were hitting up bands at the time for interviews, we would do it from our personal accounts and hope they never found out what podcast they were coming on because we hated the name so much.
I mean,
Uh,
honestly, if you guys hit me up from the Epic Beans podcast, it wouldn't have mattered like the name. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think that's a good name.
Yeah.
It's an original name. Naming shit is hard. So
Oh yeah, I agree. So yeah, it just kind of started as a joke, and I mean, we've since broken off with all those other people that we originally started with because Gloria and I were the only ones who were like, okay,
super serious.
and let's do it like for real now, and everybody else was like, I don't know about that. So yeah. So yeah.
So and how many? I mean, this has to be like close to your guys like something like 70th to 80th episode, right? Like if you count every interview as an episode, maybe even over 100. No.
I think we're with interviews, and I think we just hit 100 recorded interviews, plus the 20, plus the 30 or something episodes that we've done like this.
Yeah, so that's over 100. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, you guys are doing pretty good. I'm trying to think. I had like another question about it. Have you ever tried to learn to play an instrument? Because or have you ever had like any interest in like trying to book shows like besides this festival? Because once you're accruing all of these bands' contact info,
Mhm.
and then how old are you? You were like 17 or
I'm
18?
17. Yeah.
Yeah, so once you get up to like you have a job or whatever and you have more money, like you should really consider starting booking shows,
Yeah.
because it's worth it.
Yeah, in terms of instrument, when I was in like second or third grade, I was taking guitar lessons, and then my mother made me drop it because I wasn't practicing. So that's
Yeah.
about all the
The
guitar
plight
experience
of a
I
little
have.
kid.
Yeah, all the guitar experience I've had. I've thought about picking it up since I'm a little bit more into music now, but I do not have the time for that. And in terms of booking shows, funny you say that because my cousin who is in Highwind, Chris.
Oh, I didn't
um,
know that you had a cousin in that band. Okay, that
yeah,
makes sense.
Yep, Chris from Highwind. He called me yesterday. And we had a conversation, and he actually brought up starting to book shows, like teach me the ropes or whatever. So
Yeah,
that's-
I book shows. I've been booking shows since I was 17, so that's I'm 25 now, so it's like 7 years ago.
Mhm.
And it's really fun and it's rewarding. And back when I was 17, we used to like have no money. We would pre-book the shows and just assume that everybody was going to bring everybody that they had to bring, and it worked out like 90% of the time. So it's something fun you can really get into, and it helps you build confidence too. I mean, you
Yeah.
already did this, which helped you guys build confidence. Like when I was 17, I wasn't about to go like live stream my like face for an hour and a half every week or whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But one last question. What's your favorite color?
Ah, you motherfucker. Well, you see, everybody says black is a shade, but I'm going to sit here and say it's a color, so I will say black because everything from my hat to my pants today are all black. So, yeah.
All right, yeah, me too. Almost. I mean, my pants are gray, but they're almost black. So
Yeah. Well, my
gray's just another shade too, right?
as I doubly name them, they are the white black pants, not gray, but white black. So, yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So that is all.
So
the shit
yeah,
that we have to talk about.
like I said, go follow me at Justin_Legends on Twitter for some daily laughs or whatever. Follow Breaking Even OF1 on Twitter and Instagram, and go to SoundCloud.com/Breaking Even OF1 to listen to the podcast. I tried to get it on Spotify. Anchor won't do it because we have like some of our own music in it, so I'm gonna have to like make my own RSS feed and get it up. But it will be up on Spotify eventually. And then what you call it? Please go listen to our podcast because we do it literally every week. We did like 3 episodes last week, and we're up to like 15 episodes recorded in like 3 months. So please go listen to it so we could keep doing this and have more topics because we are running out of topics. So let us know, please.
Yeah, go listen to their podcast. Justin and his band are a good friend of ours.
We do interviews a little, and we also just fuck around a lot. And we're gonna have you guys on like as soon as Gloria's voice is better. We could have you guys on.
All right,
or individually if you want, but we'll see.
We would prefer just to do the both of us, I think. But just DM us once Gloria's voice is back, because I'm sure she will tweet a bunch once her voice is back, so you'll know. In terms of stuff I want to plug, we got the Good Noise Fest. Follow us here on Twitch. Or if you're listening on other platforms, go follow us on Twitch so you get all the updates. Set times will be announced on Wednesday. And
June 27th and 28th, right?
Yes, 27th, 28th of June. It should be starting at 12 p.m. I think that's the plan right now, but we shall see. Go follow us on Twitter, good_noise_cast. Instagram, Good Noise Podcast. No underscore spaces, none of that shit. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Spotify. All those numbers are important and whatnot. And
yes.
Yeah.
And Epic Beans Podcast forever.
So thank you for doing this, Justin.
No problem. I'll be back. I want to come on like every couple of months. I'll be back.
Okay, yeah, you will definitely be back. Hopefully next time it will be with Glory when her voice is better.
Yes.
So yeah, I am Shane.
Justin.
And this has been the Good Noise Podcast.